Welcome back, Endgame community. I'm Pierre, with me is Chris, and we are here to talk about busts for Week 17. These are the guys we want no part of with fantasy championships on the line, guys that could wreck your end of the season. So let's get to it, Chris. Who's a guy that you are fading in Week 17?
I'm fading Sony Michel. I know he's the lead back there in LA now. Darrell Henderson on IR. But Sony Michel has been the lead back for 3 straight games. And prior to last week, yeah, he'd been doing well, but from a fantasy perspective, he wasn't putting up monster games. Why? Because he wasn't scoring and he doesn't catch any passes. Last week he scored, he had a nice game. But now they go against Baltimore. Baltimore is terrible against the pass. Talked about it on our Booms video. They are great against the run. In fact, they allow the fewest rushing yards of any team, and I think the Rams are just going to throw the ball on them. Sony Michel is not involved enough in the passing game to give himself fantasy value outside of scoring a touchdown. I just don't see it this week with him. I know it's hard to bench him, but I think you should look for better options if you can. I really think he's going to disappoint here in Week 17.
Well, I mean, yeah, a lot of people will be shocked by that. But numbers are numbers. It's always about the matchup, right? And the Rams do tend to fall into this pass-heavy mode. Not that they'll need to, but just because they can, right? Just like the Bengals did last week. Speaking of the Bengals, remember Joe Burrow and his kind of record-setting performance, 25 yards and all these touchdowns? That was wonderful. If you had him, you're a Bengals fan. It was just neat to see. It's not going to happen again, all right? So going against the Chiefs, you know, we kind of still have this thought in our head that the Chiefs put up a lot of points and give up a lot of points. And that's just not true. This year, they're giving up a lot fewer points, especially during the second half of the season. That defense has been really good. Joe Burrow, for most of the season, was just kind of a sketchy fantasy quarterback, throwing a lot of interceptions, leading the league in interceptions. Okay, the Chiefs have been really good clamping down outside receivers. I think this is a game where they have to kind of get back to basics, get Joe Mixon involved. And look, I think that the pressure might get to Joe Burrow too, because if Kansas City does build a lead, then we know Burrow sometimes gets happy feet. And that's where the picks come. So in a single quarterback league, I have him outside my top 12, which means I'm not starting him. I'm not saying he's going to be a total disaster in Week 17, but again, just because of what happened last week, I'm not putting him in my starting lineup if I don't need to. All right, let's go on with another bust.
Man, what happened to Cordarrelle Patterson? Remember when he was, the waiver wire hero, league-winning guy, catching passes, and then all of a sudden the Falcons decided, we're just going to make you a running back, and his fantasy value has disappeared. He has 12.6 combined PPR points over the last 2 games. He has 3 catches for a whopping 4 yards over that stretch. This guy's a wide receiver. How is this possible? What are you doing, Atlanta Falcons? Just when we thought they had unlocked Cordarrelle Patterson, they put him in a box and locked him back up. There is no way I can trust Cordarrelle Patterson this week, especially going against Buffalo, who's probably just going to shut Atlanta's offense down completely from start to finish. He better fall in the end zone for you if you're going to get anything from him this week. No way I can trust him. He's on my bench.
Sad, but I agree with you completely there. There's no team that's been more frustrating for fantasy owners than Atlanta. So you know what? Let's talk about another Falcon who I also think is going to bust, and that's Kyle Pitts. Look, I get he had 100 yards last week. We're excited. He's breaking rookie records as far as yardage. He's a great player, but this week it's not going to happen. Going against Buffalo, tough matchup for everybody involved, but specifically for tight ends. Not a single tight end this year has gone over 73 yards against Buffalo. Right? I don't think Kyle Pitts is going to be the one to do it. I think this whole offense is going to be in trouble. So I know at tight end, it's a thin position. You probably don't have a lot of better options. I'm just saying you better temper your expectations. So I won't go so far to say absolute must sit, but I do think as far as expectations go, he is going to bust for you this week. All right, Chris, let's keep it going. Give me another bust.
Here's another guy that early in the season looked like an absolute league winner and has really tanked down the stretch, and that is DJ Moore. And look, it's no fault of DJ Moore's, but his quarterback play has gone from awful to awfuler, right? He went from Sam Darnold to Cam Newton, and now it's Cam Newton and Sam Darnold, I guess, splitting reps. I mean, what are they doing in Carolina? Who knows? Who cares? You can't trust DJ Moore. And not only that, he gets a brutal matchup this week against the Saints and Marshawn Lattimore, who maybe he won't be on DJ Moore 100% of the time, but he's going to be on DJ Moore quite a bit. So factor in Lattimore being on him a lot, and the fact that we don't know who his quarterback is going to be, from play to play or snap to snap. And not only that, whichever one it is, neither one is very good. So I can't trust DJ Moore with my championship on the line. No way he's in my lineups anywhere I have him, which I don't have him anywhere, but if I did, he wouldn't be in my lineups.
I'm right there with you. I honestly don't think I have him anywhere in redraft either, but if I did, I wouldn't be starting him. Now, we do know who the quarterback is for Arizona. It's Kyler Murray, who went from being an MVP candidate the first half of the year to being kind of an iffy start, to be honest, in fantasy. I know the rushing upside is always there. He had that long run last week. So, no, he's not a guy you're typically going to bench, but I am definitely worried about him this coming week. So, going against Dallas, we know that defense is now legit. It's official. Okay, they've given quarterbacks a hard time all season long. Micah Parsons looking like Defensive Rookie of the Year. Ever since week 13, he's only thrown 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Okay, 252 yards per game. That is pretty replacement level as far as single quarterback leagues go. Now, you talk about, well, he could always run. Yeah, he's getting you about 49 rushing yards a game since then. That's good, but again, is this somebody who's going to win you your week like before? It's not. So we talk about a very tough matchup without DeAndre Hopkins, right? With the running backs in the backfield kind of mixing and matching. James Conner, has been banged up. This whole offense is just struggling, and I feel like they could struggle big time against this pass rush in Dallas. So again, hard for me to go out and say just absolutely bench Kyler Murray because you may not have a better option, but I'm worried about him. I don't have him as a top 10 quarterback this week. All right, let's go one more bust.
Hey, let's keep this theme going of early season league winners who have disappointed down the stretch. And let's go with Marquise Brown, right? For the first half of the season, putting up monster game after monster game, catching long touchdowns. Since week 9, has done almost nothing in fantasy. And who's going to have a quarterback this week? Is Lamar Jackson finally going to be back? Will Tyler Huntley be under center? Will it be Josh Johnson again? Does it matter? I don't think it does, because this Ravens passing attack has not been good since the first half of the season. The offensive line is a mess. There's no time for whoever's under center to throw deep, to let those long developing routes develop. And they're going against the Rams and Jalen Ramsey. You want no part of that with Marquise Brown. You're only banking on him hitting on one big play, one big touchdown. That's really your only chance here. I'm not willing to risk it with Marquise Brown on this offense. So another guy early in the season looked like he was going to carry you, but now you've got to put him on the bench.
Yeah, now this might surprise you, but keeping in that same division, I'm going to talk about Deontay Johnson, who's a guy you would think would be set and forget. I've got to tell you, I'm a little bit worried just because he's on the Pittsburgh Steelers. So look, he saved his day at the very end of the game with that touchdown late when they were getting completely thrashed by Kansas City. The dropsies look like they're back. He had that one really bad drop, and then another time where I don't even know how to explain what he was doing with the ball. He just kind of threw it instead of catching it. It doesn't look like he's focused. Doesn't look like this whole team is focused. It looks like they've already kind of given up on the season. Big Ben, we've been saying all year, he's not himself. He's ready, and he will be retired in a couple of weeks. So we haven't seen Deontay Johnson level production these last couple of weeks, right? And so I think in this game against Cleveland, it's not like it's a great defense, but they're getting their pieces back slowly. This was a really low-scoring game the last time these teams met. I kind of feel like it's going to be that same way. I just don't think we're going to see what we've seen from Deontay Johnson throughout the course of the season. I think the Steelers' offense is pretty much done for 2021. So those are our bust picks for Week 17. Let us know what you think. Guys, we have all sorts of other ways that we can help you win. By the way, check out the information in the description below. You can join us on Discord and keep the conversation going. All right, good luck.